The Russian sound system is pretty different from that of English, and in this video let's talk about one of the most important differences. That is, that most Russian consonants come in pairs, soft and hard, or as they're often called, palatalized and non-palatalized. So from the English speaker's point of view, it might seem that there are two kinds of N, two kinds of L, and so on. So what's the difference between hard and soft consonants? Let's look at the position of the tongue in these images. To articulate a hard Russian M, I'll press the tip of my tongue against the back of my front teeth, and you can see how the rest of my tongue is in a fairly neutral position. It's not raised up, it's fairly relaxed. To pronounce a soft N, I'll press the tip of my tongue up against the front teeth as for the other one, but at the same time I'll also raise the blade of my tongue up towards the roof of my mouth. Some might say it's a little bit like an N with a Y or a Y sound following it, as in English onion, but I want to be clear here that this is not two consecutive sounds, not a M followed by a Y, it's really just a single sound N. And in the Russian sound system, this hard M and soft N are considered two completely separate sounds. And Russian has two sets of consonants then, hard or non-palatalized, and soft or palatalized, that are pronounced with the tongue raised toward the roof of your mouth again. So we have hard M and soft N, hard D, soft D, hard T, soft T, hard L, soft I, hard S, soft S, hard Z, soft Z, and other pairs like these. And there's just a handful of exceptions to these. There are three consonants that are always hard: Zh, Sha, and Tse. And there are two more that are always pronounced as soft consonants: Sha and Cha. So how do we distinguish in spelling between the hard and the soft consonants? Russian doesn't have separate letters for each of the hard and soft consonants, so we'll need a different kind of system. Well, there's a letter called the soft sign, or мягкий знак. It has no sound of its own. It just shows that the consonant before it is soft. So we'll use the soft sign if the soft consonant is at the end of the word. Вонь, мать. Or if the soft consonant comes before another consonant. Только, свадьба. In these examples, we know that the consonants highlighted in green are soft because they're followed by the soft sign. So if we can use the soft sign at the end of a word or before another consonant, what about before a vowel? What if the soft consonant is followed by a vowel? Well, there's an interesting trick here. To show that a consonant is soft before a vowel, we won't use a special letter for the consonant itself. Instead, we'll use one of these 5 vowel letters. The names of the letters are Ya, Ye, I, Yo, and Yu. And when you see any of these after a consonant, they don't just signify a vowel sound, but they also show that the preceding consonant is soft. Let's look at some examples. Ня, Не, Ни, Нё, Ню. So these vowel letters show that the N sounds before them are soft. Now some people call these letters soft vowels, but I don't recommend that term because the vowel sounds themselves are not soft. Rather, these vowel letters show that the preceding consonant is soft. That's a really important distinction to be clear on from the beginning. And to write a hard consonant before a vowel, use one of these vowel letters. A, E, I, O, and U. So here's how we can write a hard N before these vowel sounds. Na, Ne, Ni, No, Nu. Let's look at some examples.
На, няня, неп, нет, лыс, лис, мода, мед, лук, люблю.
Let's review with a little exercise. Let's look at some words and see if we can determine which consonants are hard and which ones are soft. Look carefully at the vowel letters that are following the consonants because they're going to be your clue as to whether that consonant is hard or soft. Pause the video if you like, and then I'll add color, blue for hard, green for soft. Let's begin.
волк,
Well, we know the first letter, V, must be hard because of the letter O that follows it. The K is also hard because it's at the end of the word and there's no soft sign following. The L is also hard because it's followed by a consonant, but there's no soft sign that follows it either.
утюг,
We know the letter T must be soft before the letter U, and we know that the G at the end of the word must be hard because there's no soft sign that follows it.
тюлени,
Here all the consonants are soft. The letter U tells us that the T is soft, the letter Y tells us that the L is soft, and the letter E tells us that the N is soft.
зеркало, зеркало,
Here the letter Y tells us that that first consonant is soft. The letter A tells us that the K is hard, and the letter O tells us that the L is also hard.
говори, говори,
The letter O shows that the G and the V are both hard, and the letter E shows that the R is soft. So, why does all this matter so much? A couple of reasons. First of all, pronunciation. Soft and hard consonants are distinct sounds in Russian, and the meaning of a word may depend on whether a given consonant is hard or soft. Here's an example.
брат,
Brother versus
брать,
to take. So be sure to distinguish between soft and hard consonants for a really natural Russian accent. And spelling is another reason to get comfortable with these concepts, because when you go on to learn about adding endings, the spelling of an ending will often depend on whether the stem of the word ends in a soft or a hard consonant. For example, if a word has a hard stem, like student, an ending that sounds like a will be spelled like this. But for a noun with a soft stem, like учитель, that ending will be spelled with the letter ya, because the letter ya shows that that preceding l is soft. And that's why you'll often see endings given in pairs. Usually the one on the left is for stems that end in a hard consonant, like student, and the second one for stems ending in a soft consonant, like учитель. So this really is an essential concept. Let's sum up then. Most Russian consonants come in hard and soft pairs. Soft consonants are pronounced with the tongue raised toward the palate, the roof of your mouth. Couple of exceptions, zhe, sha, and ts are always pronounced hard, but cha and sha are always soft. How do you spell a soft consonant? At the end of a word or before another consonant, use the мягкий знак, the soft sign. Before a vowel sound, use one of these vowel letters. Ya, ye, I, yo, or you. To write a hard consonant, before a vowel sound, use one of these vowel letters. A, e, I, o, or u. And at the end of a word or before a vowel, you don't need to do anything. Just write the consonant, and it will be assumed that it's hard if there's no soft sign. Again, this contrast of hard and soft consonants is a central concept in Russian, so please don't skip over this or think, well, it's a detail of pronunciation that I'll get back to later. You'll be applying these concepts all the time, so it really is an essential part of your foundation for learning Russian.